saying?
What's going on? You good?
39. Man.
You're 39?
I'm not 39. The episode is 39.
Oh, okay.
Are we on 39? We're on 39, right?
We're on 39. I think it's 39. we're on late digits.
Innit?
I hope you all had a wonderful Easter.
Yes.
We had a wonderful Easter. Though I didn't do an episode because it was Easter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you had a good one. We're gonna do like this one's gonna be quite short. I feel like.
Yeah, it's gonna be snappy.
We're just gonna run our mouths.
Yeah,
for
it's
ages.
probably we're gonna flap our tongues for a bit.
Chat butts. So we're gonna go into the news.
Let's get to it.
And what a newsy thing it's been.
Yeah.
I'm slightly disappointed.
Nuggets. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So for a very long time, I was looking forward to Outriders. And for those of you that don't know, Outriders is a third-person looter shooter.
Yeah.
Which means you go around shooting things and you get guns and clothes and you just kind of build and grab as much loot as you can to become a stronger character, basically in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
And it looked really good, and I played the demo a lot. I even went out of my way and made an alternative trailer.
Nice.
Which I put online.
Yep.
ALT Antonio, if you're interested. And
cheeky little plug.
Yeah, and so I was really pumped for it because it played nice, it played good, it looked good, it felt good. The dialogue is horrible.
Oh, really? Why?
It's just bad.
Oh man.
It didn't decide what it wanted to be. Like, this is from the demo, bearing in mind I haven't played the actual game itself.
Okay. Yeah.
The reason that I haven't played the game, because this for me was going to be a day one thing.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't play it was because the day it came out, there was mad server issues.
Right, yeah.
And there's this kind of controversy at the moment, which is like, it's a single player game, yet it's online only.
Weird.
So you have to be online to play the game.
And it's a single player game.
Well, there's a multiplayer element, but
Right.
if you want to play the campaign and you don't want to play with other people,
Right.
you still have to be online.
Strange, but okay.
So
Run with it.
very odd. The problem is none of the servers worked. So what was happening
Of course
was
they didn't.
people weren't able to get into the game because the servers were full or they were falling over or whatever. You were playing the game and you'll get kicked. So you won't. You'll go back to the main menu. Checkpoint droppage where like you get to a checkpoint and then it will just kick you out. All these weird things.
Right.
And then there was this big one called the inventory wipe bug where it kicks you. And then when you try and log in, all your gear's gone.
All your gear's just
all of your loot from a looter shooter is gone.
Fascinating. I mean, you can't write it better than that.
And they were scrambling. People Can Fly, the guys that were making this, were scrambling to get this back to normal. And Square Enix are trying to get the servers going, all this stuff, right? And they're putting online things like, oh, if you play the PlayStation version, clear your cache if you can't get in. What you need to do is turn it off, unplug it, right?
What?
Plug it back in.
And then plug it out, plug it in again, yeah?
I mean, who's going to
that
sit there
old
and go,
trick.
turn it off, basically, turn it off, turn it on again. It's like, I shouldn't have to turn my PlayStation off,
blow the cartridge in it,
blow the cartridge, and turn it on again. I mean, that is wild.
That's insane.
I
love it. I almost love that they said that. Do you know what I mean?
Asking people to legitimately turn on, like, turn off and turn on their PlayStations and like unplug it. That's the thing that gets me. Is like, I'll turn off my PlayStation. All right, fine. But I have to unplug it.
I've got to unplug it as well. Because why?
Because to clear the cache. I'm like, that's deep. I shouldn't have to do that. And so all these things were coming up. Yeah. And so now they tweeted recently, actually, where they were like, we understand that this thing isn't happening.
Yeah.
If you that this thing's happening and there's bad things happening, we'll give you this free gear here. We'll give you this free gear there. If you get the white bug, we've put things into the servers to try and like safeguard against it.
Yeah.
But if that does happen, just log out, log back in again. If it happens after like 9 a.m. on this day, you have to go on Reddit and look for help. So everyone's it's kind of divisive because a lot of people are like, do you People Can Fly? We appreciate the candor. We appreciate you being online. We appreciate you showing your faces and going, look, this is a bit crap. And we're going to try and fix it. And then there are other people going, dude, you put out a game and, people are still hurting.
Of course.
From Cyberpunk. But just to be clear, this isn't like Cyberpunk.
No.
But people are still hurting from...
people are still reeling from that experience.
From dodgy releases, right?
Me included.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
people are still kind of coming off the back of other games.
People
that
are
have had
sensitive
poor
right now.
releases. Yeah, and I think
Rightfully
that's
so.
justified. So, like I said, it's not as bad as Cyberpunk, but it is. There is to a degree of you pay 50, 60 pounds for a game that you then can't play.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
No, it isn't. It's yeah, like I was saying, people are really, really sensitive now, and even though it's not as bad as, say, something like Cyberpunk, whatever is going to be felt from a dodgy release is going to be magnified.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Because
But people seem pretty supportive. I've seen people going, "Do you, man? I appreciate you getting involved." Da da da. Anyway, so this has happened.
Right.
They've now turned around and gone, "Oh, we're doing this big patch."
Right. Yeah.
And this big patch, and everyone's like, "Cool, they're gonna fix this, they're gonna fix that. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Like they're gonna fix all these problems, and the world's gonna be fine."
Right.
No, they're nerfing everything. So they go like
What?
the first thing is that the first major patch for Outriders will be available next week. This is from Kotaku.
Right.
Developer People Can Fly revealed in a blog post today. If you've been waiting for general fixes regarding connectivity and inventory wipes, you'll still have to wait. But hey, at least the coolest class is getting some nerfs. So basically, they're
you are joking.
The base cooldown for certain rounds, the ammo ability that causes bullets to deal explosive damage will leap from 16 to 25 seconds. So they're upping the cooldowns. And cooldowns means if you use a skill,
Yeah.
you have to wait the cooldown period for you to be able to use it again.
Yeah, you got to wait an amount of time before.
So it's gone from 16 to 25 seconds. They've also said people isn't only nerfing the Trickster. The Technomancer will now deal 15% extra damage against poisoned enemies. At the same time, the Pyromancer's Trial of Ashes will be reduced by the same amount. You'll no longer be able to receive legendary weapons from repeatedly cashing in Historian, Bounty Hunt, and Monster Hunt missions.
So hold on a minute, Tones. Right? Let me just stop you right there. So they thought, rather than fixing the issue,
They're just like, don't worry about that. We're doing this now.
Don't worry about that one. This is the priority. We're gonna nerf a party in it. But come on, man.
It's mad. Like,
Come on.
It seems to me
Where are your
like,
priorities at?
all hands should be on the pumps fixing the servers, but you're actually going to release a thing going, "Oh yeah, but we're not fixing that, we're fixing this." It's like, that's not broken.
That's not broken. And what is that's not broken. And what is the point of releasing a patch for that section if people can't even get on to play the thing anyway? Or if people get on and they're getting kicked out? Like, it
doesn't make sense.
That's mind-blowing.
And they're saying like, well, their quote was, "While we do understand the satisfaction this kind of power can bring, it is currently vastly outperforming our wildest expectations, and we therefore need to bring it down a notch." They're basically saying the biggest one is at the end. The end game is like expeditions,
Right.
and it's time. It's kind of like a time trial,
Right.
but by making your characters weaker, they've also brought the time down.
Right.
So they've made it harder.
I mean, what is going on?
One notable absence, the big thing is that the issue of PC console crossplay. During the demo, players across platforms could team up, though it wasn't smooth. You could get into sessions, but players were frequently dropped and sessions would sometimes spiral entirely.
Right.
Square Enix told Kotaku that Outriders will have a 1.0 launch version of the crossplay system at launch. So crossplay allowing the PC players to play with the Xbox players, with the PlayStation players.
Okay.
And
The community there,
and the Xbox players, yeah. Following a launch weekend plagued by instability, People Can Fly turned off crossplay between PC players and console players.
Why?
Because they thought that was the issue.
Okay, fine.
They were like, "Oh, no one can get on the servers. We'll just turn off crossplay."
I love their decision making. It's genius.
They're like, we're running through testing, but it's unclear when it will get turned back on.
I love it. All right, that's not working. Turn that off. Turn that off over there, and we'll switch this one on and see what happens.
And nerf that over there.
Yeah.
What's got to do with the servers? Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
We just need to be seen looking like we're doing something.
Oh God!
Literally, Square Enix were just like, representatives of Square Enix, the game's publisher, did not respond to requests for comment.
I bet they didn't.
They were like, no, just everything's broke. How do we do it? We ain't got enough servers. All right, how can we turn this bit off? Turn that off. Nerf those characters. Don't worry about that. And it's just it's a scramble. It's really disappointing because like the funniest thing is when I've watched reviews, from these critics, they've all gone, "It's a good game."
Yeah,
like it's not a bad game. It's just broke. And even Skill Up turned around and said, "I would recommend this game, but I'm not recommending it now." He's like, it is a good game. It's fun. And they've done this amazing thing where it's not live service. It is a one and done. It is a case of there is a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. There's expeditions, there's end game material that is there from launch.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is amazing because, you look at other games like a la Anthem and these other live service games where there's no end game. And they're like, we'll just add end game at the end.
Yeah, and just turn it into a chimera of
And it either never happens or it's a mess. Like there's never enough content. So for them to release a game that is finished is great. And having people be able to go, okay, I finished it, I played it, I put the hours in, I'm done. I don't need to come back to this. If they do decide DLC, that's great. But chances are they might move on to the next one. This could be a good test for Outriders 2 in a couple years where they're like, okay, we learned a lot from this closed game. Yeah, maybe we can do a live service.
Yeah, no, for sure. We know what didn't work here. We can just put that into something else or a sequel or whatever.
So I mean, I want People Can Fly to win. I want this game to do well. I'm gonna wait a couple weeks. Hopefully this stuff gets sorted and then I'll buy it and have a crack at it because I am gonna play it. I just don't. I've got other games that I could be playing that work.
Basically.
So I'm not gonna waste my time.
That's fair, man.
In other news, Twitch, yeah. You have this thing about Twitch, don't you?
I do have this thing about Twitch, but I'm gonna let you say your bit first.
So Twitch is a fascinating system for those of you that haven't used it before. I'm sure all of you have.
For lack of a better word.
It's exactly right.
Sorry.
So Twitch is trying to explain it.
Please do.
It's a streaming service, right? So basically, it's predominantly for gaming, and people stream stuff. Now, originally, when I came into it as a young, bright-eyed lass, it's games. You watch people play games, and there's characters, and these guys play games, and you enjoy it, and you watch how they play, and you learn from them. And I've had a really good time. Yeah, Max Dude is pretty much the only guy. Max Dude, Mary Kish, and probably what was the other one? I can't remember. Anyway, so there's a couple that I watch, and they're all really sound and really good fun. So you can check them out. Like Mary Kish is really cool. She's brilliant. She's a good gamer. And then Max Dude is like the fighting FGC.
Yeah. Extraordinaire.
So
it's always fun watching him.
He's really fun, and he usually clocks in around 10 to 12,000 followers, viewers at any one time. And we've talked about this before, where you've got guys playing Grand Theft Auto 5, which came out 5 or 6 years ago now.
Oh gosh, it's ridiculous.
And people are still going, and it's watching. And
what's the viewership for that now, roughly?
Well, one of the guys I saw had like 20,000 at any one time. Then what started to happen is I've noticed now we're seeing like people in hot tubs, on camera chatting in like their swimwear, in outfits, and people and they're just chatting, and they've got 10 to 15,000 people watching it, 20,000 people watching at any one time. And now there's these like sleep streamers that basically just record themselves sleeping and people watch them sleep, which even on a digital level is a little creepy. But
and they get sponsored for that as well,
and they get sponsored a lot of money. So this came out from GameIndustry.biz, which Twitch sets new record with over 2 billion hours watched in March. Grand Theft Auto 5 becomes the number one game watched for the first time as sleeping streamers gain popularity. Twitch set a new monthly viewership record in March with 2.6 billion hours watched, according to Stream Elements. 2.06 billion hours, according to Stream Elements analytics partner Rainmaker. That figure represents a year-over-year growth of 105%.
Oh, wow.
Right? Facebook Gaming's viewership for the month was nearly 400 million. So 400 million and 2 billion, right?
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 was the most watched game for the month at 181 hours, followed by League of Legends at 143 million, Fortnite at 107 million, Call of Duty Warzone at 85 million, and Minecraft at 82 million.
Insane numbers.
Madness. This is the thing that I found really interesting.
Okay.
This is the reason I wanted to talk to you about it.
All right.
Stream Elements also identified a growing interest in viewers watching sleeping streams. During the month, Twitch users spent over 2 million hours watching streamers sleep. A single streamer accounted for most of those, with viewers watching Ludwig sleep for a combined 1.5 million hours.
1.5 million hours?
Yeah. And they use this really cool thing on game industry, if you're interested. In 1964, Andy Warhol released a controversial film called Sleep, which featured editing clips of his lover sleeping for 5 hours.
Right.
The appeal among its fans were that those rare moments where those rare moments where something happened, like a simple change in position.
So people are just, okay, yeah.
So now they're saying this same fascination is happening on Twitch, whether it be the abundance of sleep streams, winter Yule log marathons, or a camera on a street's frequently ignored stop sign. Because these seemingly mundane things are happening live, anything can happen at any time, and communities have rallied around supporting these streams and celebrating both the frequent and infrequent occurrences during them. This, to me, is madness.
Oh God.
But why are people just out sitting on the curb going, I'm just going to watch my road because anything can happen?
I mean, it's, you could suppose that's where those weird sort of like accident videos come from that get passed around things like WhatsApp and stuff like that. People just sitting there, just rubbing their hands together like, oh,
today's something going to happen.
Yeah, this is going to happen today. I can feel it. But there's something really dark and quite bluntly disgusting about that. Watching people sleep, why don't I just hang outside somebody's window and do that? Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna, by the way.
Yeah, but I think it's because the permission is given by the person to be like, hey, come watch me sleep. I'll get paid. I'm making money while I sleep. Come watch me, innit?
This is the thing that blows my mind into smithereens, right? Because that's creep. Like, are we safe to? Can I say that we think that this is creepy?
I think there's a little odd.
There's something a little bit odd about that. But then the weird psychology for someone to actually say, look, I'll give you permission to watch me sleep, and like you can do that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
sleep seems incredibly personal and private.
It's very, very personal, and doing that, it's just very, very invasive. And I'm sitting here talking about this and I'm kind of shaking a little bit because it genuinely freaks me out. I can't imagine me sitting in the chair now and I'm just watching somebody sleep like, oh yeah.
It's going to move any minute now. He'll roll over.
She's going to move. He's going to move. Something's going to happen. Like, why?
Yeah. And this is what I get is we've reached a point where X amount of years ago, it was about skill, talent, entertainment. You have to entertain your audience. You got to be on point. We can't just put any old shit on the internet. We can't put any old shit on TV or in the movies. And now it's got, but I'll put a camera outside my house to film that stop sign still.
Yeah.
Bare people, 1.5 million people watch it. Yeah. And you just think, I mean, I get it back in the day because I remember they used to put webcams in like Westminster or Times Square or whatever, like these major places, and people all around the world can check in and watch them. And be like, oh wow, that's whatever. But I just don't understand why someone would just put a camera outside their yard, outside their house, and be like, look outside my window. Something could happen. Pay me, innit? And people do it.
This is the thing. Equally, people will do that.
This kind of reinforces the idea that there is an audience for anything.
I think there is, man.
And as long as you can find them. But the idea of watching people sleep, is, I mean, it's no different from, when these women are in the hot tubs, they're in these like paddling pools on Twitch and they're getting thousand views. I don't know, that's I don't know, man. Like, it just seems so strange to me that anything is allowed now.
I mean, I'm not going to knock the hustle on it. I mean, if you're making your bread, you're making your bread.
Paper, you're doing your thing.
You're doing your thing. But it kind of strikes me as just crazy that is anything for sale now? Is any kind of viewer experience for sale now? Is that where we've come to now? From
girls in hot tubs or girls in paddling pools to filming street signs to filming people sleeping. It has gotten to a point where if you've got the reach, anything can be monetized. And viewed. And it's a madness. Like, it just seems mad to me now that there isn't, I don't know. I don't want to take away from people working because I'm sure people work really, really hard.
Yeah,
and it makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, people are just doing anything now.
Yeah.
And Twitch are rubbing their hands together. 2 billion hours, man. Like, how many advertising that is.
Oh my god. Like
I had no idea that it had such depth. Like, I really thought it was just people playing games. But I was wrong, man. Like,
I do wonder if it's going to be one of those things that we might see change after the world officially opens up again and people have
I'm curious.
more time. Well, actually, no, not more time, but they're going to be getting back out into the offices, or
Yeah, they're not going to watch it on.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love to see what the numbers would be in April, May, June.
Would they be forced to give up these vices? Because these are
the vices.
The vices, because habits have been formed in
100%.
lockdown. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what we're talking about with Twitch now is obviously something that represents that. So I do wonder now, coming out of this this pandemic situation, would that change? I think it might.
I think there's a degree of me just going, it's shock, and then it's also like quiet admiration at this idea of someone going, there
is something morbidly fascinating.
I'm chatting to people in my swimwear in a paddling pool, and I'm making pee, or like I'm making bank, or I'm like, I'm just gonna go to sleep, and when I wake up, my bank account's gonna be full. And you can't, as ridiculous as that is, you figured it out.
I'm gonna go pick my outfit and buy a webcam.
Yeah,
screw it.
Just the idea of going, okay, I woke up.
You all can watch me sleep out there.
How many people watch me sleep? 1 million people. Right, I made what? How much money? What did I do? I slept.
And I just slept.
All I did was slept. And you just think, gee, okay. So you can't, like, it's interesting. You just can't knock that when you're just like, well, I mean, you figured it. You did it. You figured it out, man.
Yeah, you've clocked life.
Who am I
like,
to
you've
say?
done it. Yeah,
it just seems strange to me. That's all. I just got to a point where I was like, that. I just found that really fascinating.
Yeah, no, it is. But we'll see what comes of it. Like afterwards, I think there may be a shift, but
diversity is everywhere with this creative.
Yes. People getting more and more
structure. People will watch anything. Anyway, go on.
I've got a little bit of gaming news.
Go on.
This was a bit of a big piece actually. So, Last of Us. Yeah, you know that game.
I heard about
that IP.
I've heard of it. Yeah,
that IP, The Last of Us. So, I'll read you a little piece from the Metro from Friday 9th. The Last of Us PS5 remake in development as developers complain of Sony obsession with blockbusters.
Well, they got that taste of that good life.
They got a taste of that good life. Let me read a little bit more of this.
That's
right?
what it is, though, isn't it?
A new insider report states that Naughty Dog is currently remaking its original Last of Us game for the PS5, right?
Remake or remaster?
I'm not sure.
Because that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Remake is like, right, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
It's brand new, ground up, looks amazing.
Yeah.
Or remaster, where it's like, you can now play it in 4K.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is, right? If it is a remaster, we've already had a remaster from. Do you know what I mean? Because we had a remaster on PS4.
That's a remaster.
That was a remaster, because the original one came out on PS3, right? So to do another remaster,
I'm just waiting for Skyrim to do it again. Hey, you can play this on your phone. You can play this everywhere. We're doing a remaster. I mean, they need to up their engine anyway. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's still suspected that The Last of Us Part 2 will receive some sort of PlayStation 5 upgrade, but apparently Naughty Dog has plans to bring the first game to the platform as well, in the form of, wait for it, a full-fledged remake.
That's such an interesting idea.
Full-fledged remake.
So soon after the second one, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting. They're like, we sold the first one, then we sold the first one again, then we sold the second one, and then we're going to sell the first one again.
Yeah.
And by the time the first one sells, we'll sell the second one again. Yeah. And then we'll release the third one. And by that point, we could probably sell the first one again. And then they're doing, isn't there rumors of an Uncharted as well?
Well, let me read you this adjacent article, right?
Yeah.
So Days Gone 2 and new Uncharted for PS5 cancelled by Sony, claims report.
I thought it was okay.
Right. So sources suggest that developer Sony Bend has had 2 projects cancelled recently, including a new Uncharted and Days Gone 2. A damaging new report on Sony's first-party studios, which claims that Naughty Dog is currently working on a remake of the first Last of Us, also suggests that plans for Days Gone 2 have been cancelled.
I wonder why they wouldn't want to do a remake of Uncharted. I wonder if it's probably because The Last of Us is so prolific, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like a remake. It seems very soon to do
It does.
a Last of Us remake. It's like, because the remaster doesn't look that bad.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't look bad at all.
And
obviously with The Last of Us Part 2 just come out, it is interesting to be like first, second, first again.
Yeah.
And that's a big move. That must be a lot of work. And obviously it's a shame that Sony Bend want to make another Days Gone, and they got denied. They pitched it, and Sony were like, "Nah." And now they've cancelled like so many like indie Sony stores, right?
Yes, they have. Yeah, they have.
I know that Ape Escape.
Mm.
I've got it written down.
Because it almost feels as though that, with the cancellation of
No, I don't.
indie developers, are they're just gonna be focusing on the big boy stuff now.
Yeah, well, like if you think about it, they're just gonna be like, right, God of War,
Yeah.
Last of Us,
Yeah.
Horizon.
But then what? Like after that,
yeah, well, they'll probably do. Well, this is it. Then the remake comes out.
See, and this
And then God of War 2's coming out. And then they probably, you know what I mean? Like the funny thing is as well, canceling games like Days Gone 2. Days Gone 2 could be the next big thing. They could have built off their first one. They could release this and it'll be huge.
Yeah.
But now it's a case of you either have to land it first time and then it becomes a franchise, or nah.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes me a little bit worried actually for PS5. Because outside of those big games that we've just mentioned, right? Those games are established.
That's Sony Studios, bearing in mind, right? This is only Sony Studios.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But it just makes me wonder, like, what else? What else could we be waiting for? What else would have room to establish itself as I don't know. I mean, as the next big thing.
Sony are really maneuvering themselves to be considered like the elite.
I think they are. Yeah.
Now that they've bought up like Santa Monica and they've brought up, they're working with Kojima and they're working with, they're Naughty Dog and Like they're just trying to make the big boy games now. They're not interested in the little like the indie games. They're not into the like middle management games. They're just like, we want to make knockout blockbusters all the time. And it's such a shame because in the same leg, not only have they gone, we only want to make massive knockout games,
but they've kind of dissed the indie developer.
Yeah, and they've also turned around and said, "Oh, and by the way, everything we've made in the past, none of that. PSP, PS3.
Yeah, what's that about?
That's all dead. They're just basically they're saying we're closing the store.
Oh yeah.
So there's all this talk about, well, what about the preservation of the games that came out, and you can only get them on the store.
Yeah,
and we're talking, I think, thousands of games.
Yeah, because wasn't this when we were saying. Because didn't somebody say, well, why would people want to play old games?
Yeah, exactly right. In the last episode.
Yeah.
So, so for them to go,
Such a mistake.
Huge. Not only are we not going to preserve and make available all of our previous titles, we're now no longer funding middle games. There were no indie games. We're only going to make big mega money games.
That's so bad. I'm quite disappointed in that because... It doesn't give other developers a chance. And do you know what's going to happen is they're going to alienate indie developers to go off to say, I don't know, maybe Microsoft, and do some stuff for them.
Well, they're only kind of
shooting. Yeah, they're only kind of shooting themselves in the foot with this. I think.
Well,
I might be wrong. I could be. I'm purely spitballing here, but
games they've got though are massive and they always sell. And I think by taking the resources from what would go into these indie games and putting them into the major games and having them be more polished and more big and more, it's good. I mean, it's interesting because, you look at Horizon and Guerrilla Games who made Killzone and they were like, we want to make this big open world, game called Horizon. And Sony were like, do it. And it was massive.
And it was successful, hugely. One of the best games I've ever played, ever.
And they're just sitting there going, well, now that's a big game. And it's curious that they're like, well, we're not going to give Days Gone 2 a chance. Maybe the pitch wasn't that good. We don't know, right? But it's a case of, does this mean that you're only going to bet on sure things?
But
or what you think is a sure thing?
Yeah.
Which is going to start being remakes.
Exactly.
Like what the movie industry is now.
Exactly.
Which is all remakes and redone. Is like, is major AAA blockbuster gaming now just going to be sure things?
Yeah.
And remakes and remasters.
And for a company like, sorry to cut you off, but for a company like Sony, who has, been well established in the cinema business as well, they should know that people don't really want remakes constantly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
No, but I mean, you look at what Capcom's done with the Resi games, though. Like, and we're guilty of that.
True. I have to take that on.
Resi 2, and everyone went mad.
Yeah,
and it was great.
And it was great, but the difference with that is that the original Resi 2 came out how long ago?
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do
Last of Us remake,
Final Fantasy as well.
Final Fantasy as well. Doing a Last of Us remake when the last
came what, 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago on the PS3. I think, yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then you had the remaster for the PS4, and then this.
Yeah, I mean, the games that you could have, the remaster. No, not. I don't think it's even 10 years ago. I think it's like 6-7 years ago. Less than. Right, so let's find out. So I'm going to find out when that came out. Let's have a look. So, Last of Us Part 1, 2013.
2013, so we're talking about 8 years ago.
And we're getting a remaster. We had a remaster, we're getting a remake.
Yeah.
I'll play it.
I don't know if I will.
But
I'll be honest with you.
I just don't see how much more or what, like, that's what I'm saying. The remaster, the PS4 version looked good.
Yeah. It did.
Right? It didn't look Last of Us Part 2 good, but it looked good.
Yeah.
I don't remember going, I could really do with seeing this in a better light.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. Is it just going to be like, we're just going to basically use what we used on Last of Us Part 2 and use it on Last of Us Part 1? It's like, is that...
Well, I was having a kind of a conversation with my brother about it. I think it was Ants, shout out. And I think he was saying that he read somewhere that this remake, if it is going to be a full-fledged remake, is going to serve, at least in part, as a justification for Abby's presence in the sequel.
Right.
Sort of thing.
I thought it was just going to be a cop-out and be more like, spoilers, by the way, if you haven't played Last of Us Part 2. Spoilers. I think it's just a thing of like, I know we all pissed you off with what happened to Joel, so here you go.
Yeah, but that's loose. I mean, if that's their way of thinking, then that's just...
I don't think it is, but I think the fact that, I heard that Naughty Dog were doing, a long time ago, there was rumors that Naughty Dog were doing a sci-fi game.
Yeah, what happened to that?
What was that? And that's been canned, and they were like, nah, just do a remake because it's a sure thing and people will buy it. But it's like 8 years old and you're remaking a game 8 years later.
Yeah.
It's like, surely there are better things that you could put your time in. Or take another punt at the sci-fi. Do something different. Do something different. Put your energy into something just, I don't know, new. If you're going to remake a game, from the ground up, right? It's got to be something where you're like, nobody's played it in over 10 years. The game now looks really poor, or like the graphics look really outdated, I should say. Yeah. And I think that people this generation will now play that game as a new game as opposed to the old generation. So like, for example, Parasite Eve. I could understand if there was going to be a remake of that. Or Dino Crisis, right? Or that. Because now people that were born in 2000 would never have played Dino Crisis 2000, right? Because roughly, because you got to think 2010, maybe 10. Yeah, so I would say like late 90s games. A lot of people in the thousands wouldn't have played. So I'm saying now, if you were remaking Parasite Eve or Dino Crisis or I don't know, Wild 9 or whatever, like you bring these games out and you remake them. They're big games that will do very, very... Silent Hill 2. They're big games that people will want to play again. Not only because the older fans are going to want to see it new, but the new fans are going to want to see it new. Yeah. Or they like heard about Silent Hill 2, but like couldn't get their hands on it. And like, oh, wow, I can play it and it's going to be twice as, whatever. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. You can still play The Last of Us now on current. Yeah. I say current. But I mean, on the most commonly used console right now. Yeah. Because most of us can't even get a PS5. That ain't so like, for a bit. It seems strange to if what they're saying is a remake is actually happening. It seems strange because you can still buy and get it now. Yeah. Whereas you probably you could probably still get Parasite, but not a lot of people are going to be running around with a PlayStation 1 or a PS2, right? So, that seems strange to me to make that choice. Yeah, it does. And if it's come at the, at the cost of a new Uncharted or a Days Gone 2, I don't know, man. It seems strange. Yeah, it doesn't fill me with confidence. Put it that way. But we'll see. It could be amazing. Could be fascinating. Well, I hope so. It's the mechanics of The Last of Us 1 amazing, but the game was incredible. And let's hope that it does bring something different. I don't know.
We're looking at each other like, yeah.
Is it just going to be a really
eyebrows.
good looking, exactly the same game, just
Mm.
looks really nice
Mm.
because the original looked really nice.
Mm.
It just feels like you could have taken that time, money, and resources and made something new and
Yeah.
tried to make a new Last of Us, like a game. The reason that Last of Us is so great is because someone took a punt on The Last of Us and was like, yeah, let's make that game. And now it becomes The Last of Us. No one knew that before they made it.
No.
So why are we now not taking that time, resources, money and going, let's try and make something new and build our portfolio, make a bigger franchise, and then we'll have Uncharted, Last of Us, Game X.
Yeah.
And we'll keep building on that.
Yeah. No,
it just
exactly.
seems strange to be like, oh, whoa, let's not rock the boat. Yeah, let's just keep. Yes, let's go back to Last of Us for a bit, make some money there because we know, and then we'll make.
We'll wait a few years and then we'll do a remake of The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, and it's. I think Capcom are the same. Like Capcom have kind of got it right, where they're like, we're remaking 2. Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Resi 3 was not good. That was DLC, and now they're saying they're going to do Resi 4.
Yeah.
If they remake Resi 4, they're going to make bank. And
I didn't finish the last Resi 4, so to cut you off, I didn't finish the last one, so I know I'll be getting that.
Yeah,
I'm getting it.
I will get that, and I've finished it. It's one of those things where you're like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Silent Hill makes sense. Kojima, not Kojima, Konami.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Konami. And Kojima now because he was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
bad
it
blood.
just seems crazy to remake a game within 10 years of itself, within 10 years of its life cycle. For me, it just seems like you could take a risk on something else.
Yeah, no, I
Star
completely
Wars
agree.
1313. I'm just saying. Someone buy the rights to that. That looked great.
I hear that.
But yeah. Anyway,
that
was a good one.
That was a good one. So what we got?
Have you got one?
I've got one.
I've come up with 2.
You've come up with 2.
Good
Wow.
one. No, well, 2 good ones recently. So it's your turn.
Okay. But before we get into this one, though, we need to do a DLC correction on the last one.
Oh, did someone correct it?
Yeah, because we as we do here on Tones and the Biz, we get caught up in the bants and the energy. And what was our last one? We said
it was the same actor.
The same actor, Michael Ben, who plays Corporal Hicks, and we said John Connor.
It wasn't. It
was supposed to say Carl Reese.
Carl Reese.
Shout out to Malls for pulling me up on that one. Even though we went at lengths to correct the Fire Force one.
And
it was actually Psychic Force. We missed the other one.
Yeah,
so sorry about that, guys and girls.
You're right. You're actually Carl Reese.
Yeah.
And Corporal
Hicks.
That was last week. We apologize.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
Yeah, Carl Reese.
Cheers, Malls. But yeah, I've got a Battle Shots, right? I only thought of it.
It's another 80s classic.
No, it's not. It's
Okay,
not. It's not even like that. You know what I mean? Right? I got your boy Axel Stone from Streets of Rage.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put him up against Ken Masters.
Axel.
What?
Axel Stone.
All day. You're not even thinking. Take your time.
No, man.
Take it. Why not?
Because Axel Stone's from the streets. He's from Road. He's from Ends. And he's rough and ready. Yeah. Whereas, like, Ken Masters, he's got a family now. He's settled. He's chill. He's out chilling. He's training. He's a businessman.
I'm having deja vu. Did we do this one before at some point? I'm having a weird sense of
But if it was, I'm still going with Axel because I think that, Ken's calm. He's too calm. He's married, kids.
He wasn't always
Axel.
married.
Axel's a bad boy.
Ah, mate.
Bearded, like he's
hard. He is gruff, isn't he?
He's gruff.
Do you know what?
He's on the streets. It's called Streets of Rage.
Yeah, but
he's from the streets. Ken ain't. He was chilling calm with Ryu in Japan somewhere.
Yeah, drinking that
field somewhere, like
drinking that strong sake.
Just in a field,
drinking that strong sake,
he's training, innit? Can't be drinking.
Of course he's drinking.
What? So Ryu's drinking as well, is it? Nah, no, man.
He might have been.
Calm. Nah.
All right, so it's Axel then, yeah.
Nah, come on.
All right, I concede. All right, okay, you got it. All right, fine, man.
I'll give you one. All right. John McClane.
Stop it.
Or
yeah,
and I can't remember his first name, but Riggs from Lethal Weapon.
John McClane or Riggs?
Yeah.
As in Mel Gibson's character?
Yeah.
John McClane or Riggs?
Yeah.
That's dark, bro.
See, I get you every week.
That's dark.
Every week.
Wow. That's
Who would win?
In a drink off, yeah?
In a drink off and a fight.
in a drink-off and a fight. Well, the thing is, right, Riggs is going to win the fight.
You think Riggs will win the fight?
Because he's mad. He's just, we saw what we
Plus,
did.
he knows he's got moves.
He's got moves, and, we seen what he did with his shoulder. He popped his, slammed his shoulder into the wall, sorted it out himself. So he'll win the fight. But I think for the drinking...
You think McClane?
I'm going with John McClane.
You think McClane would win the drink off?
I'm going with John McClane.
You're mad.
Yeah, he's hard.
You think you'd win drinking against Riggs?
Yeah, I think he would. My man walked across glass, fam.
Oh, okay.
With bare foot. Do you know what I'm saying?
I would.
Threw himself out of a window to land in another window. Are you mad?
Oh yeah, but Riggs has done some madness.
Like what?
You just told him dislocated and relocated his own shoulder.
He didn't do that while chucking himself out a window, though, did he?
He threw himself off a building. He didn't do that chucking himself out a window, no. But he did throw himself off a building.
Yeah.
And he had like a but didn't he do the thing with the police motorbike as well?
I can't remember that. What was that?
Lethal weapon. Anyway, so you're saying
I'm going John McClane. Sorry.
McClane would win the drink.
McClane would win the drink, but I'm
lose
not
the fight.
Yeah, I'm not confident that he would win the fight. I think Riggs would win the fight because he's just feral mad.
I agree with that.
Oh, yeah? Oh, you agree?
Well, I think Riggs would win the drink. I think Riggs would win everything. I think Riggs would win the drink and the fight.
I'm not buying that.
No.
Nah, I'm not buying it. Nah, I think John McClane is He's gonna drink him. He's gonna drink him under the table.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. Let us know what you think.
What do you guys and girls think?
Riggs or McClane?
Yeah.
Let us know. I'm loving the
walked across glass with bare foot. Yeah.
And
running away from flipping terrorists. Barefoot on glass.
Once again,
chucked himself out a window. Do I need to say it again? Sorry.
Once again, we're apologising for getting the John Connor Carl Reese thing. So Corporal Hicks.
Yeah.
Carl Reese.
Yes. But it's good that you guys and girls pull us up.
Drink off, battle off.
Yeah.
What did you say?
What?
Who won? Who would win in the fight? Who would win in the drinks?
What, from last time?
Yeah.
I gave it to Corporal Hicks. Because he makes strong decisions. Take off and nuke the entire site from orbit.
That's right. Yeah,
only way to be sure.
You said that, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that.
Say it again?
I think that's true. I think I agree with you. All right, cool. Well, cheers, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We hope you enjoyed this episode, the madness that it was.
Indeed.
And we'll see you next week.
Hang
out with us, guys. Cheers. And as always, follow, push all the buttons.
All the buttons you need to.
Do all the things. And you can find us on YouTube with all our little snippets. Catch up.
All right, man.
Take it easy.